sometimes I stop and think like, oh, these are the photos they're going to be pulling out when they're like 75 to show their grandkids, which is just kind of crazy to me.
Hey friends, welcome back to Art Estate. I'm your host, Nicole Romanoff, and I'm so excited you're here. Today's episode is a special one. My guest is Emma Brown of Emma Victoria Photography. If you've seen the cover of this podcast, then you've already seen Emma's work. That photo? Yep, it's hers. She's incredibly talented, has an eye for both the editorial and the candid, and she just brings such a grounded, thoughtful approach to her photography. We talk about her journey, from second shooting and working for free to now shooting 30 weddings a year while raising a little one. She shares how she stays inspired, what gear she swears by, why she kind of loves the chaos of weddings, and how she's navigating the ever-evolving world of trends, off-camera flash, and film photography. Whether you're a photographer or someone who just loves a good creative story, you're going to love this conversation. So grab your coffee, pop in your earbuds, and let's get into it. Before we get started, share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Emma. I have been taking photos for like 5. I was trying to calculate this before I came here this morning, but like 5, maybe 6 years. And then this is my 3rd year shooting full time. So I predominantly shoot weddings, though I do shoot a lot of like newborn and maternity sessions lately, which has been fun. And then you said, where am I from? I'm from Saskatoon. So yeah, I just kind of shoot locally and then like a little bit around Alberta and stuff too.
So tell me a little bit about, you've been shooting a lot more, did you say newborn and maternity shoots?
I have been. I think it's like mostly just my wedding clients are having kids now. So then they're like reaching back out because I don't really share a lot of lifestyle work anymore. Just with like the season I'm in life, it's like not the easiest to get out for like smaller sessions just with like arranging childcare and stuff. So yeah, I kind of just take on like people I know or like a select kind of number of things, but it seems to all be like newborn lately. So
that's kind of cool that you're following through their sort of like life, not their life process. What is that called?
I know what you're trying to say. Like, it's cool. It is cool though. Yeah. Just to have like people come back and getting to like kind of grow with them or like see their families grow. And
that's
stuff.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Because you already have that relationship that's already established. And I feel like you can connect with people deeper, and then it's just easier to get sort of those more candid or real moments when you do have those relationships with people already.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Yeah, just when they're already like comfortable with you and stuff. And like, I just went to this, we had a really good laugh about it. I just did like newborn photos for somebody like last week, and they'd printed they had like all their wedding photos printed all over they had like a shrine of wedding photos, which was really cute. But she was like, she was almost embarrassed because there were like probably 30 like on, there was like every wall. But I'm like, it's so cute to like get to see kind of what people do with them too. And then yeah, I thought that was fun. But
that's special.
Yeah.
What is your process when you show up at their house for that type of session?
I'm pretty laid back. Like usually I'll just like visit with them for a couple of minutes, especially if they don't know me already, just to like warm up to them. And then I might ask for like a little house tour, just to see like what our options are and figure out like where the best light is or like windows and stuff. And then what do I do from there? I usually just kind of take some test shots while I'm still like visiting with them and try and tell them like this is going to be like super casual, just because like there's only so much you can do with like a newborn too for lifestyle photos, like where it's not like that in studio where you're like like I don't even know what you'd call that, swaddling, I guess, when they do those more like staged ones. I don't do that. So it's like pretty minimal, and I think once they realize that, they're like way more comfortable and they can just kind of relax. So once I'm at that point, then I just kind of shoot how I normally would.
What are some of your prompts that you use with your couples?
That's a good question.
Or for like a lifestyle
like
session.
For a lifestyle session, I feel like I rotate kind of between like standing and sitting, like different levels. So like for say a newborn session, I would have them maybe sit on the couch and just like cuddle baby. Or if it was just like a general lifestyle session, I would maybe have them walk around to start. I think that like kind of breaks the ice a little bit and like gets people comfortable. I would say I stay away from prompts that feel too, I don't know if staged is the right word, but like I like to try and get people just like as they are. And so I think a lot of that is just talking with them and trying to get them to be comfortable, because then they kind of let those like walls down. But
When you're asking your families to pose, do you often have them like looking at each other, or how often would you have them looking at the camera? Would you say it's less often them looking at the camera? Like, does that seem posed when they do?
Okay, I don't hate posed photos if it's like intentional. Like I really like editorial photos, so I feel like there is an element to them being posed, and you might even have them looking at the camera for that. I wouldn't say I do that for family photos as much though. So like in the context of, like a family shoot or like newborn photos, I would say just kind of like looking at their kids usually. And then there's maybe like one or two where I'd ask them to look at each other. Though I usually start a session with, I kind of call it like the Christmas card photo, or like for grandma, like I'll just have them take one photo like that, because I do think it's still important to have, even though they're kind of cheesy. But I just get it like out of the way, and then that's not how I shoot from there. So like a lot of the photos where they might actually be looking at the camera are actually candid. Like I might take one when they're like talking to me or something, which I kind of like those photos. So.
How long are your sessions with them, or do you have different amounts?
I usually say about an hour, but it really just depends on like the couple or like the family. I try to tailor it. Like, I think it just depends. Like if I'm just trying to think, like I did newborn photos like 2 weeks ago, and that was like 30-40 minutes, because I think like I do value efficiency at that point, where like I don't want to push it so long, like their baby starts crying, or because she was really like happy and content at that point, but it kind of felt like I was starting to change. So I try to be like aware of that stuff. I don't really put like a blanket amount on things. Like if I know I can give them like the amount of images that I would typically give, which is like say 75 to like 90 photos, like as long as I know I'm in that range and I'm like confident with what I'm giving them, then I'm okay with like calling it a little bit earlier. So
and what's your gear, like which camera do you use, and what lens do you love using?
What do I use? I shoot on Canon R6s. Both my camera bodies are that. And what do I use for lenses a lot? I have a 35, a 50, and a 24-70 that I kind of like rotate between. That being said, it really depends what I'm shooting, because if it's a wedding, like I would lean more towards like my 85 as well, but I don't use that for sessions as much. So
what do you mostly use for in-home sessions for a lens choice?
I would say probably like, I usually still bring both cameras, and probably my 35 and my 50.
Yeah.
I like prime lenses, like if I can. I don't know why, I just do, but I kind of, somebody said they were better to me once, and maybe that's not even true, but I've always had that in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you shoot at a fairly open aperture?
Sometimes I'll shoot at like 1.4, 1.6, just I like the look of it. Or if I'm trying to kind of like distort something in the background just so that it's not like the focus. But I actually shoot at like f2.5 to f3.5 a lot, which I know that's maybe not as common, but I like having like everything in focus in the person.
When you're starting out as a new photographer and you first get your prime lens and you're like, oh wow, this opens up to 1.2, and so everything is like super soft and shallow and like barely the eye is in focus.
I shot my first like entire wedding season on like 1.4.
Oh, wow.
I think it went fine,
nice, though.
but I wouldn't do it again. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it again either. There's just too many risks involved too, like in terms of like where, especially for a wedding where it's like kind of run and gun.
Yeah.
So I feel like just having a slightly higher aperture gives you a little bit of a safety when it comes to that. But actually from the Artist Day workshops, I learned that a lot of photographers actually prefer to shoot at a more open aperture. And so I've actually been trying that again, because I feel like it's easy to kind of fall into a rut of just like setting your camera to whatever you feel comfortable with at the time. So
I find I go through seasons, like I'll be like, oh no, I don't want to shoot that look anymore. Like I'll shoot a wedding like more like f3, f4, and then be like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that, and then I'll go back the other way and stuff. And this year my goal is definitely to like consistently be going back and forth throughout, and like using it more strategically as opposed to like getting stuck. So
right.
yeah, it is easy to sometimes just yeah, like kind of go hard one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least for me. So
Let's start at the very beginning. So how did you get your start in photography? Was it something that you always knew that you wanted to do?
no, honestly, like my high school offered a photo class and I took like the other elective option. Like I wasn't super interested in it. And then when I graduated high school, I've always been really like artistic. So I think my mom thought like, oh, a camera would be a good fit. And like we were going on some trips and stuff. So they gave me a little Canon Rebel, just with like a little kit lens. And I honestly like sat on my shelf for like a year. I didn't really do anything with it. And then my friend, I give her all the credit, but my friend Anne, I think I was starting to play around with it on like auto settings, but I was too frustrated to like learn how to shoot manually. And she told me she would teach me, and like it would make such a difference. So we went for coffee, and yeah, I just like clearly remember us kind of going over everything, and like that was kind of my first like unofficial photo lesson. And then once I've just always been one of those people that like doesn't like things when I don't get it right away. And so I think like because it clicked in that moment, I was like, oh, actually, like I really like this. This is fun. Mm-hmm. So she would do the makeup and then I would take the photos, and we like planned a few shoots together, which was very like casual, but like they're really funny to look back on now.
Yeah.
And then from there, what did I do? Well, then I just loved it from there. So I ended up like reaching out to people and asking like if I could take their photos, and who doesn't want free photos. So that kind of worked out. And then I had a girl, we're probably like a year in now, maybe a year and a half. I had a girl ask me to second shoot for her. Her name's Erica, which was awesome. Like she was already established and like super talented, and asked me if I would second shoot for her that summer. And yeah, so I second shot maybe like 5 or 6 weddings for her. And then from there, I just knew there was like nothing else I really wanted to do. I loved weddings so much. So yeah.
What is it that you love about photography?
Oh, I'm really like extroverted. So I think like I like that it's creative, but I also like that it's like a super social job. Like I get to talk to people all the time. And it's also, you can kind of just do whatever you want with it, which is also something I like. Like there's a lot of freedom to it.
And what inspires you when you start shooting?
Oh, I think it's like evolving. Like lately I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on like street photographers in New York. And like, I think their process is super interesting, or even that they would just like go up to strangers and take their photos and stuff. So I don't know how that will translate into my photos this year, but that's something I've been really inspired by.
Are you interested in like the storytelling aspect of it, or is it more style?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Or
yeah. I think like, I just think it's really cool that you get to like step into people's lives and document, like, especially with weddings, like a day that they're going to actually look back on for the rest of their life. Like sometimes I stop and think like, oh, these are the photos they're going to be pulling out when they're like 75 to show their grandkids, which is just kind of crazy to me. But I try to kind of keep that in perspective. And I think that does also inspire me to keep doing my job well, I guess. And then also not to fall into ruts and to like look for ways my clients are all different, or like weddings can kind of follow similar patterns, but like the people are all different. So just like letting that inspire me.
When you shoot a wedding, do you typically shoot like a lot of like wider shots, or do you try and do like a variety, like super tight? And
oh, good question. I try to do a variety, though I realized this year when I kind of did like an inventory of my work that I do lean on like the wider side. So that is a goal for me this year, is to shoot more like almost like obscure close up, like really detailed shots, because I really love those in other people's work and I think they're interesting. But overall, I would say I try to shoot a variety. Like I like to kind of think like wide, medium, close. Like I would start with like an establishing kind of shot and then like work my way in.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the up and coming trends are for photography?
Well, that's a great question. I hate saying film's a trend because, I mean, it kind of has been, but I also think it's so timeless when it's done well. And I'm the wrong person to be talking on this because I've shot like a singular roll of film. But I do think you're seeing like a resurgence of it. Like you said, like it's something that I'm wanting to learn how to do, probably because of that. But I do think I am drawn to like the timelessness of it. as well. But I think there's like an edit that is trendy right now. I would say off-camera flash is also super popular right now. Like we are seeing kind of like a resurgence in that, because I think it used to be more like on-camera, like direct flash, and now it's more of like that external off-camera flash look.
If you're heading into wedding season, where do you look to get inspiration on like the up-and-coming trends?
I do look at Pinterest a lot. I try to limit myself just because I don't want to end up like ever kind of copying somebody, I try to be really original like as much as I can. But even for like technical skill or just like lighting ideas and stuff, I like Pinterest. I'll do that. I usually make kind of like a mood board for my weddings, just going into it. So I kind of have like a game plan of some of the shots I want to get. Like I try to be prepared. And then on Instagram, you can have like a favorites like feed. And I utilize that just because I follow so many people, but I've tried to cut it down to like 15 or 20 people that I like really admire. A lot of them are in the States and stuff, but just that I either admire like their technical skill or like the way that they capture candids, or like I said, like street photography and stuff. And I try to just like limit myself to looking at that feed more so than my big one.
Yeah. Could you give us an example of someone and what it is that when you see their work, you're just drawn in?
There's this girl, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Camille de Loon or something like that. She's a film photographer in New York, and I just like love the coloring in her images too, and it's super romantic and like soft. I've been trying to figure out like how on earth she gets like the look that she has in her photos. I don't know, and I don't know if she offers like mentorships or anything like that, but I love it. Almost looks like she has like a Pro Mist filter on, like a really that's the best guess that I have so far, is like maybe like an eighth or like a quarter filter on, just because the light like is so diffused. But like I'm really drawn to that. I think just because it's different. It's not something you like see all the time.
And you said that you would like to get more into film. Do you have a film camera right now?
I do. I have like 7, and I need to learn how to use them. I got my grandpa's old film cameras. They got passed down to me. But they're not super like beginner friendly. So I have used them a little bit. But I just bought like a little point and shoot. And then like I bought 2, I guess, that are like a little bit more beginner friendly. And I think I'll start on those this year.
Yeah. Do you often work with a second shooter?
I actually don't very often. Like I think I had like maybe 4 weddings last year that I had a second. I've thought about baking it into my pricing, and then like I just haven't logistically figured out how to do that, because it is really nice to have somebody like come, even just like for me as an assistant. But right now, it's just if my couples choose to add one on.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on second shooters being able to use the photos that they take?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, because like when I got started, I was allowed to use my photos. And I think like, Erica was just like so awesome to let me do that. And obviously there's like kind of rules to it, like how soon I can post or if I can tag people or not. But that did help me in like getting my start. But I also have second shot for a few people where like I shoot on their SD cards and then I give them right back to them, and I never see the photos again. And I honestly don't have a problem with that. So I'm on the fence right now. I would say I'm maybe starting to lean more towards not. I'm seeing the benefit in not having 2 people share the same work online, just in like originality, I guess.
Do you feel like it confuses people?
I think it can, or I think like I haven't ran into that yet, but it's just a problem that I don't really want to have to face, I guess, and that I'm trying to be mindful of, where, if you have 2 people share the same wedding and your client sees 2 different edits, like it has the potential to change the way the client sees like your work, I guess. And I'm just try to be like mindful of that.
Mm-hmm. What would you say has been your biggest challenge shooting weddings? I
would say like the not shooting the event itself so much as like emailing is going to be my downfall. I think like I'm contemplating hiring a virtual assistant just because it is a lot of like client communication, especially when you have like 25, 30 people that you're trying to keep all of their like projects organized in your head, and you're talking about similar things, and like maybe they're in the similar stages of planning, and just how to like not mix things up in your head. So that's really important too, to like make your clients feel cared for, that you like know, like say going into a phone meeting that I remember like their timeline details and their venue, and I'm not having to ask them a million questions.
Do you use any CRM software or client relationship management software?
I used Dubsado, which I really like. I just switched over to it like a couple months ago, and it's been really awesome. I have like that has like kind of saved me this year. I've created like a workflow mainly from my wedding clients. It's got like 25 steps to it or something, and it's pretty much all automated, so they just get all of the information that I want them to have when they need it, and then if they have questions I'll respond, but at least I know that they know what they need to know, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I use HoneyBook, and I feel like I don't really know what I did before.
Yeah, I know. I just implemented that this year, and I feel like I was so unorganized before that, like looking back in retrospect.
I remember booking shoots via email, going back and forth like maybe 5 times, trying to find a time that would work for someone.
Oh, I still do that.
You still do that?
I don't. Not that that's ideal, but just with like having like Alex now, like I can't. It used to be so easy, and I didn't realize that. I could just be like, sure, I'm free, like that works. But now I'm having to like arrange childcare.
Right, childcare. Yeah, that brings its own challenge. How are you managing that, like being a mom and running a full-time business?
That's a great question. I am and I'm not. Like I think I'm just figuring it out as I go, because like each year is also bringing different challenges. Like last year, she was a newborn, so it was more like maybe lack of sleep for me, but like she slept a lot during the day, so it was really easy to edit. Now I'm getting more of my sleep at night, but she's super busy during the day, so I'm, like she goes to bed around like 7:38, and that's kind of when my like office hours start now. So I'm like editing in the evenings, and like all my emails are like going out at like 9 to like 11 p.m. at night, which isn't ideal. So yeah, I don't know. Ask me in like 6 months and we'll see how it's going. But
I'm sure it would be a challenge, like, managing both, especially when it comes down to like sleep deprivation or, working late hours just to make it work. But it's great that you're making both work, and you're showing people like it is, it is possible.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good. We'll see. I might, in the summer, I'm going to need a lot of coffee to make it through. But
yeah, for sure. And how many weddings do you take on in a year?
I have 30 this year. So we'll see. Last year was like 25.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
Like throughout the year.
Yeah, throughout the year. Like not all at once.
Okay.
No, like I just had one last month, and I have one in a couple weeks. So, but it is mostly like, I'd say like 27 of them are like May through October.
Okay. And are they all in Saskatoon?
This year, yeah, like all within maybe like a 2-hour radius. I'm definitely not leaning towards traveling for weddings anymore. Mm-hmm. Just for me, like that's not a goal that I have anymore. So,
right. Did you ever do that?
I did. I shot a wedding in Toronto, and I shot a wedding I was supposed to have one in BC. We ended up having like travel. That's a whole other story I probably wouldn't get into, but I wasn't like my flights ended up being canceled, and a bunch of stuff fell through. And then I have shot in Alberta like a fair bit.
How did you get those jobs?
Just Instagram. I honestly don't know. Like I wish I could tell you and give some like tangible advice to people, but they just reached out. So
nice. Yeah. Instagram. Are you on any other social media platforms?
I just started using Pinterest like 3 weeks ago.
How's that going?
I have one pin that like a couple hundred people have seen, which to me feels like an accomplishment, but it's not really that big of a deal.
That's awesome. So, it feels good.
The other ones are all at 0 though, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the strategy is.
It's an interesting platform. I also use it, and I posted some reels to it. This is a little hot tip for people. If you want like a really good repurposing software, repurpose.io. It will take a piece of content and then you can set up workflows that send it out to different platforms. So like TikTok, or if you want Facebook, or for example, there's also like YouTube Shorts, but you can also do it to Pinterest. And so anyways, I found like the more I was doing that, the better I was getting. Like to this day, I have like one pin that I feel like is like crushing it. It has like over 100,000 like
That's crazy.
likes or whatever it is. But yeah, I think Pinterest is great because it is like a search engine too. And a lot of people do end up getting business from it, which is really neat. And actually Delaney, who was a guest a few weeks ago, she was mentioning how like one of her pins as well, like got her a wedding.
Yeah.
I want to say in Europe or something.
Yeah, that's
like
super
that.
cool. I believe it. No, for
Yeah,
sure.
really cool.
Yeah.
So do you have any crazy stories, like wedding stories or wedding nightmares that you've experienced?
Yeah. So I was like my biggest mistake in my photo career. It's far enough out now. I feel like I can talk about it, but I was shooting a wedding in Mississippi in Manitoba. And we were staying like my second and I were staying in Saskatchewan, like just like an hour away, like not very far at all. But I forgot that there was a time change between like in that hour drive, the clock's like moved an hour. And here we are driving. There's no cell reception because we're going through like the hills and whatever. I thought it was gonna be half an hour early, but we were half an hour late. Because I basically came back up the top of a hill to my phone ringing, being like, "Where are you?" Like, and yes, that was not the best moment
just like
in my career.
Instant stress.
Yeah.
Just like it would be hard to shake that the rest of the day because you want to come across professional, and here you are showing up late. It's an honest mistake. Seriously. Just a question on like image delivery. Do you promise a certain amount of images, or is it just kind of the best of the best from the day?
I ballpark like 75 an hour just because I think people want to have a number and to know like you're not going to just give them like 5 an hour or something. I don't know. Not that anyone would do that, but I think it just helps them to kind of have a sense of what they're committing to, but I don't guarantee anything.
How do you stay sane during a wedding day?
I don't know. I've been told I'm crazy because I just love them. Like they don't stress me out at all. I feel like the most calm that I probably ever do, like at a wedding.
What is it about them that you just love so much?
I kind of like how crazy they are. Like I feel like it is like a little bit, there is like a chaos to weddings.
You like the pressure?
Yeah, I think I kind of do actually. Yeah.
Do you like corralling people?
I don't mind it. Yeah. I don't love family photos. Like I compare it to herding cats. Like I don't love family photos, but I go in like as organized as possible ahead of time. And I think that makes a really, really big difference.
And how are you on the party buses?
I don't always go on them. Like, I mean, okay, I say I'm extroverted. I'm extroverted in the sense that I like talking to people. I'm not extroverted in like, I'm not going to be the one like dancing.
The life of the party.
No, not at all.
Swinging from the poles
I'm
and the
still
bus.
more on the quieter end. So I think like, I like that the camera kind of buys you a ticket into everything. Like you could literally stand in the middle of the dance floor with your camera and not dance, but like nobody questions why you're there. And I feel like the party bus is comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a free pass for sure.
And I usually just stick it on, like, that's where I'd use my 24-70 and just have it really wide. And I feel like those make for some, like, fun party shots. So.
Oh, just thinking to those party buses and, like, the music is just so railed. It's, like, distorting and, like, people jumping around. It's
I'm more scared of not having a seatbelt when you're on, like, the highway and you're standing. That's when it's, like, more scary. But
yeah. What do you hope to communicate through your work? And has that changed since you first started?
I think so. Like, I think when I first started, I don't know if I really had a clear vision. I was just really excited about, like, getting to take cool photos. And, like, I just loved, like, formals and getting to be, like, as artistic as possible, which I still, like, love and appreciate. But I think now I'm just always hoping that my photos come off as, like, real, for lack of a better word. I think that they don't feel too staged. Like, that being said, I do really like an editorial photo, or like I kind of go back and forth between the two extremes, which would either be like super editorial, quite posed. I'm totally okay with posing people, and I don't try, like, because I know that the trend for like going from posing to prompting was a big thing. Like I'm totally okay with posing people, but that's only like 10% of my work, and then the rest is just candid. So like I just hope that people look at them and they don't feel forced.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a challenge, though. At least I find, because I will have people walk into the studio and they're like, I have no idea what to do. So I find that I do end up posing people, or I don't want to like pose them stiffly, but I want to give them an idea of like how to pose themselves. Prompts are really, really helpful too, because then it just seems, it's almost like giving an actor a direction, you know, like okay, this is like who you are and this is what I want. And then they're able to like become that character, if you will. So I think that is really helpful, but I think that you do communicate that well in your work, like that. There is like this nice marriage of editorial and documentary style in your work.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's changed since you first started?
I think what drives me has changed. Like when I first started, I wanted to just take like cool photos, and you're just excited. Like I want to make something that I think is really pretty or like really artistic or whatever. Not that that's bad. And like, I still hold some of those goals, but now I think I'm more driven by like what the photos are going to mean to the client. Like I'm trying to think like through what photos are going to be important to them and why. So I think that's real like maturity, I think, in, you know, becoming a professional photographer, because you're right. Yeah. I think when we start, we're doing it more for us. I think so.
As artists.
If you're being honest, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But in the end, we are being paid to accomplish a goal or a product that is for someone else that they'll enjoy for their lifetime.
Yeah, I think trying to find that balance, and like I don't have it all figured out, but just that balance between like creating art and it being, I want it to be beautiful and interesting for my own like personal reasons, but then also, yeah, like it is, I do view especially wedding photography as like a service industry job. Like where you're serving people, and like your goal should also be to like make your clients happy and to
give them a good experience.
Yeah, and a good product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could give a piece of advice to someone that is just starting out, what would it be?
I think just never let yourself like not be busy. That's what I did, and it worked. I think that it's the reason I am where I am today. Like anytime I wasn't booked, I just made myself busy. Like be okay with working for free sometimes if it benefits you. Like that got me so far. And like, yes, it is a lot of time and energy, but I think that it pays off in the end. So
you can learn so much, right?
Oh, yeah. I think there's so many ways that it benefits you. Like, yeah, you can practice new skills without there's no pressure. Like you can just do whatever. 'Cause like when you're not getting paid, they can't, like if you're asking them to be your models and stuff, like they can't really critique it. Like they're getting a free product, and then,
right.
But also like the opportunity to build relationships with people. Like I shot a lot of weddings for people who I like reached out and asked them if I could just have them be my models. So like it is like a good networking opportunity too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And how do you define success as an artist?
I think maybe like twofold. Like the first would be that I really like my work and I feel like it's interesting and original, and I want it to feel timeless. Like those are all just like qualities that are important to me, and I'm still like evolving to try and get there. But I don't know if I don't know if you ever get to a place where you're like fully happy with your work, and maybe that's just like an artist thing. But then on the other hand, it would be knowing that my clients are happy and that they have a good product and that I've kind of fulfilled what they were hoping for. That like I think makes me feel like I've succeeded. So
is there anything you feel like you would like to learn more about in photography, or any certain styles of photography that you would like to try?
I do want to learn how to shoot film, and I know I kind of touched on this earlier, but like I think that there's like this trend towards film right now, but the film that's really timeless, that's like shot really well, I don't know that that's as common, and I don't know how to do it, but I want to. That's a goal. for me, that I like learn how to properly like utilize my cameras and know how to like meter and do all that stuff. Maybe this isn't so much learn as remember or just get better at, but like shooting more diverse shots like throughout, say, a wedding or a session, where like sometimes it's easy to get stuck if you shoot something and then maybe just out of like nervousness I'll shoot it like 4 more times just to make sure I got it, versus like shooting it, looking at the photo, knowing I got it, and just moving on, because I don't need 6 versions of that photo.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that too. It's like I have like 8 safety shots. It's like, I think went a little bit overboard here.
But I think, at least for me, like I try to evaluate my work every year and figure out kind of like what I want to get better at and focus on in the upcoming year. And that's like my biggest thing. So.
Do you have a vision board that you make every year?
I don't have like a vision board, but I do make like little goals. Like, I don't know what I would even call it. I literally just write the year on a piece of paper and then draw little like lines out of it with like what my goals are. I don't know where the first ones went, but I started making them like 5 years ago and I kept them all. I found like one from 2022 the other day and I have it like taped up by my desk because it's just funny to look back on.
Did you accomplish it?
Most of it, not all of it.
It's kind of neat though when you find those. I am also a big like goal setter and dreamer, and I have a bunch of journals, and we've been doing like these home renovations lately, and I came across these journals and I was looking through and I was like, oh my God, like I remember when that goal seemed like so huge and so like unattainable, and now I've like way surpassed that. And it's just kind of neat to see, like the growth. And I feel like oftentimes we can really get down on ourselves about like, if you are like a high achiever or a goal setter and you have like these huge goals and you feel like you're way behind or something like that. And then seeing that how far you've come, like looking at the gain versus the gap. And actually there's a book about that. And I have found it very useful, and I highly recommend The Gap versus the Gain. You should read it if you're a person that struggles with that feeling of like defeat, because it has definitely helped me. While we're on the topic, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. I just love shooting weddings so much, so I really hope I'm still shooting weddings. I don't know what capacity, like that will just depend on like if we have more kids or like how managing all of that is going, but that is probably my biggest goal. So yeah, I can't see myself not shooting weddings, but maybe, I know we've talked about this before, but I think shooting like some commercial work would be cool. But probably that's like, again, maybe a down the road thing. So that maybe would be 5 or 10 years from now, just once like Alex is in school and I have more free time during the day.
What kind of commercial work would you be interested in?
I think I feel like doing like campaigns and stuff could be really cool. Like I also do like studio photography. I think it's fun, like how creative you can be. Like I always look at your work and it's cool how like different it all looks, even though it's in like a single space, like a lot of it's in the same space, but it doesn't look like it, which I think is really interesting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, one of those two.
Well, this has been great. Can you share where we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at emmavictoria.photo or on my website, which is www.emmavictoriaphotography.com.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Art Estate. I hope you love this chat as much as I did. If you want to check out any of the tools I mentioned, I've dropped my affiliate links in the show notes. And as always, come hang out with me over on Instagram at Nicole Romanoff Photo and at Art Estate Podcast. And if you haven't yet, make sure you've signed up for the weekly newsletter. It's where I share all the good stuff. All right, I'll see you next time for another episode of Art Estate. Bye for now.